Joining us right now, a
Is
guy
he here
that it hurt my feelings when I heard his opinion a couple of weeks ago. I was able to get over it, so I've definitely moved on. He is a legend. He's sat in this chair.
Let's be honest. Let's be honest. You should be here now.
You should be there now.
Am I wrong about this? You're not saying anything.
Hello there.
No, you didn't even hear what I said. The great
Yes,
Chris.
I did. I should be here now.
You should.
How is my main man? How's the golf game, Joe?
The golf game is okay. I'm playing this weekend. I'll be playing in St. Lucie this weekend.
I heard that. You go. Evan, it's a pleasure. How you doing?
Dog, how are you?
The great Christopher Mad
How
Dog
are we all
Russo.
doing on our favorite little talk show, Real Estate? How's the show going?
It's going.
Here.
We only do them. You know, we don't critique them, bro. We just do them.
We just do them.
Do you enjoy the extra hour?
The extra hour?
Because we were doing 10 to 1 for a long time. So
Yeah,
3 hours.
you know what?
Right? Now you're
It's
doing
not
2 to
as.
6.
It's much better than we used to fill in for Mike with that 1 to 6:30 disaster. I'll tell you that.
Right. Do you feel like your audience has followed you the afternoon drive?
I don't even consider that we're like doing afternoon drive. Honestly.
Oh, you don't?
No,
Okay.
not at all.
I tell you this,
I
dog,
don't feel like I'm. All I know is my hours are later, and I don't really feel like I'm doing afternoon drive.
Every day, though,
To be honest with you.
Joe says the same thing right around 5:50 off air. You know what you say to me?
Yeah, show
Bro,
goes fast.
the show
No, it goes
flies.
fast. No, it definitely does. Like I said, it's not like when you guys did that 1 to 6:30. Now, of course, you guys made a lot more money than we are. But with that said, 1 to 6:30, it was like, oh my God, let me die now. You know what I mean? So
Well,
it's much
1 to
better
6:30,
2 to
as I
6.
always used to say, you could take off you could leave to go to JFK to go to the West Coast and essentially land
Yes.
and be in a
That
rental
is
car
correct.
and the same show is still going on. That's what I used to say all the time.
That is
Long
correct.
show, man.
That is
Now,
correct.
Evan, how are you?
I'm good, but I'm a little bothered by you.
What's the matter now? What's the problem?
Look.
By the way, this is the great
By
Christopher
the way,
Mad Dog
by the
Russo.
way,
Know.
you guys just started. I do not want February vacations.
What?
No,
Oh,
especially
come
you.
on. What's wrong with you?
You just started.
I've been doing it-
You
hold on.
can't take
I've been
a
doing
week
this for
off in
25
February.
years. What do you mean? It wasn't like I wasn't working 2 months ago when we were doing the midday.
You got a new shift. You got to work straight to the
stop,
summertime.
bro.
The both of you. I'm
Come
surprised.
on. I'm near the end. Stop it already.
Well,
Near the end, you're just getting started. You're making a fortune. What are you
Yeah, I'm
talking
making
about?
a fortune.
In fairness,
Hello.
dog,
What
Think about this. When both of us decided to
world are
take
you
our...
living in, Chris? This is not, we're not talking about 2002 anymore, okay?
Probably right. But why did you
Probably.
take Evan?
Well, but-
Why both
Dog,
a week off in February?
When we planned our vacation, my family, Joe's end, we weren't even doing afternoon drive. We weren't told we were doing it. So we took a nice, healthy
You
vacation.
think I'm not taking a vacation in February, Chris? You got to be kidding me. You're out of your mind.
You got to show some consistency. Anyway, let's get off the beaten path.
Consistency?
What do we have? You can't. When I got this
Consistency.
serious, I didn't take a vacation of the following
stop.
summer. You too.
Don't even start with me, all right? I love
the
you,
both
but
of
don't
you.
start.
All right, now what is?
All right,
let
so
me hear your baseball thoughts. Go ahead. Let me hear your baseball thoughts.
Here's the issue. I grew up listening to you. I love you. All right? Now, I disagree with you half the time, but I love you. And one thing I love about you is your passion for the sport of baseball. And you're old school, I'm old school. I'm only 36, but I'm old school. How could you actually like that horrific playoff idea?
Well, number one,
Dog, why?
the NFL is going to expand to playoff teams, correct?
What? What does this have to do with baseball?
Well,
We're talking
if the
about
NFL
baseball.
I don't particularly love that either, to be very honest.
If the NFL can do it, why can't baseball?
Because baseball's regular season is supposed to
You
matter.
really
You
like
want to put
this?
8 teams in the playoffs?
You want to start picking your opponents in the playoffs, too? You like that?
You guys live in New York. How about in Pittsburgh when they're out of it every year in July? You think they're
Too
into the
bad.
baseball?
Too bad. Have a better organization that runs there. How about having a better run
With Met
organization?
fans, they usually
Well, how
out of it in
about
July,
Kansas
too.
City? How about
They won
won
the
a
World
Dave
Series.
Moore's a better GM than Brody Van Wagenen, and he won a championship.
Okay.
How about them?
They won the world. They go into back-to-back World Series. They didn't need 7 playoff teams to get in.
Yeah, I don't have a major problem. I'm
Why?
surprised you guys have such a big problem
come
with
on.
it. Why not? It gives them more inventory for the postseason
Who
to sell to
cares about
ESPN.
And what are you going to do? You're going to have a 2 out of 3 now? You're going to add like that a series? Don't you like this one game and done?
A lot of people hate the one game.
Well, I'm
because
asking
it's
you.
not fair.
Do you
a lot
like
of people
it?
can't
Not
stand
fair.
the one game.
You're in the playoffs. You made it. Win the game and move on. That's all. Not fair.
You guys
Come on.
are way too hard. And then let me get this straight: the Seattle Seahawks can go 7-9 and host New Orleans and beat them in the playoffs. Yet the 84 and 78 Royals can't make the playoffs.
They won their division that year.
They did win a division.
If a baseball,
okay, how about an 8-8 team that's a wild card team that makes the playoffs? How about Tennessee? Tennessee with 9-7
All right.
did nothing and got to the AFC Championship.
The Giants won a Super Bowl in 9-17.
There you
What
go.
does it matter?
So why can't if football could do it? Why can't baseball?
Come on. Because first of all, you're talking about 162 games. I mean, when are you going to play? They're going to play into November now?
Well, and the other thing is, Dog, if you look
they're going
at
to cut the
teams,
season down to at least 154.
If you look at the teams that you are adding to the postseason, like look at 2017, you would have had 2 teams under 500 get in as a playoff team.
Why do we want
teams
that? Under 500 in the NFL make the playoffs.
Well, why do we have to keep bringing up the NFL?
Because the NFL is the best league in the land.
Right, of course.
And you know why?
Not even
they
debatable.
Can't do anything wrong. The NFL is so perfect. They could try to break it by changing the rules. They could try to break it by protecting the quarterback. They could try to break it by having horrible officiating. And of course no one cares because it's the NFL. It's king. So you can't compare it to baseball. You want to water down the regular season to the point where there's 80 win teams in the playoffs?
Games, Chris.
Come on.
It's not a 16-game season.
I mean, still is. I'll tell you one thing that will happen. Aaron Boone last year, who didn't care one iota about finishing with the best record, went into Detroit and blew a 12-0 lead because he wouldn't want to use any of his pitchers. This next go-around, if this gets passed, he won't do that. Because if you have a chance to get the best record, you will go all out in September to get that best record because it gets you a bye into the divisional series. So Aaron Boone and everybody else who basically sorts their pitching staff to what their liking is in September and basically sleepwalks through the last 3 weeks of the season, they will no longer do that because they need to get the best record to avoid playing in a best of 3. How is that bad?
Well, I'll give you 5 reasons. Number 1, having time off in baseball is not valuable. Ask the Rockies in 2007. Ask the Mets in 2015. Sometimes having that time off backfires. We've seen that before.
That backfire nonsense. I mean,
nonsense.
Who got to the World Series this past year? Houston did. They had time off. How about the year before that? The Dodgers and the Red Sox. They had time off. They won the division.
What are you talking about? They played a 6-game series against the Yankees. What do you mean time off?
I thought you meant the time off between the end of the regular season and the postseason starting.
Well, that everybody's got pretty much the same time off.
No, not if you play the wild card.
Well, that's only 2 teams. That's only 2 teams. What about the 3 teams that win the division? They're basically playing the same schedule. I don't think it adds as much value as you think. And also, you're watering down the playoff races.
Listen, I think that should watering down the playoffs means nothing. Fans love playoff games. I think your best. No, fans love playoff games. I bet, hold on now. The NBA put 16 teams in.
Is that great?
That's not great either.
You're going to sit there and watch Brooklyn play the Bucks.
Well, you know what?
One of the biggest jokes in the world. The NBA should under 500 teams like we don't kill them.
Well, first of all, you can't put that back in the jar. Yeah,
hold on. They emptied the jar long ago. How can you kill them? The Brooklyn Nets have 5 games under 500.
Trust me, dog. I know.
Play a playoff series and get destroyed, and that is good and that's good.
I see what you're doing here. You're picking a scab right now, especially after they blew a 19-point lead.
These teams that finish under 500 to make the playoffs in the NBA, they never go anywhere.
Well, they shouldn't make the playoffs anyway.
Well, how many teams should make the playoffs?
The NBA is a complete joke.
Chris, here's the bottom line. Okay, it's all about money. You know that.
How
much more money can they make?
That's why the NFL's doing it, though, Joe.
Well, the NFL's a joke. You know why the NFL's and I love the NFL. You know why they're a joke? Because they give you this nonsense about they're worried about the safety of the players. That's the biggest crock that I ever heard. They want to play 17 games. They want to play 18 games. They don't give a damn about that.
I'm surprised you guys are so down on this.
I hate it.
It's an extra game or 2. What's the major problem? Because they're going to water down a regular season?
Yeah, I think the format they have right now, I love it because the divisions matter. You don't want to be a wild card team. Being a wild card team is risky. Sure, you can win a World Series like the Nationals have, like your team has. I get it, but you've got to win a winner-take-all wild card game. It's risky. Winning the division matters. I think they've got a great playoff format, and if they think that teams that are tanking are going to stop tanking, they have a screw loose. Teams are still going to tank.
If the Yankees know that they're fighting for the best record in the sport with the last 7 or 8 games to go, and they know if they don't get that best record, record. They're in a 2-game series against a team that's got good pitching. The Yankees are going to try hard those last 7 games.
I will give you that point that does add to being the number 1 seed, but I don't think the other stuff is worth it at all. And you're surprised at us. I'm surprised at you.
How about picking the opponent stuff? What about that?
Yeah.
It's a TV thing. Is it that big a deal?
Yeah, it is. What do you mean? Is it a big deal? I'm picking who I want to play now.
Well, of course, but you know who they're going to pick, Joseph. They're going to pick the team that's got the worst starting pitching.
Well, if they're the Yankees, are going to pick the Twins every time.
Yeah, exactly. They're going to pick. So what's the big deal? They're going to pick the team that plays the worst pitching. They're going to avoid the big starters.
But that doesn't mean they're going to win. And all you're doing is, look, maybe it doesn't matter, but you're giving that other team plenty of incentive to go beat that other team. Oh, they think we stink.
Well, not if you just always pick the 7th seed. How about if a team is worried about bulletin board material and the 2 teams says I'll play the 7th seed?
I'm shocked that you were.
You guys are making too big a deal. This is not that big a deal.
Oh, it's a terrible deal. And
do you like the NFL expanding? Do you like that? I don't like that either.
Let me ask you a question, Joe.
Yes.
First off, the Jets stink, and so do the Giants. You mean to tell me that the Jets and Giants make a wild card game you are not going to watch on December 29th?
But that's not the point.
Well, hold on now, guys. Yes, it is the point.
No, it isn't.
You're not going to watch those 3 wild card games on Saturday and Sunday? Are you crazy? We're going to all watch those games.
Of course, nobody said we're not watching them. That doesn't mean I don't want that. I got to like it.
Oh no, Joe, put your money where your mouth is. If you don't like
that's a ridiculous point. Of course, why? We're sports fans. We're not going to stop watching games because we don't like the system.
Why don't you like a playoff game? You don't like playoff games?
Doug, look, I'm a diehard Brooklyn Net fan. I know they're going to lose to the Bucks if they played them. I'd watch every game. I'd go to every game. But in a perfect world, I wouldn't want a team under 500 making the playoffs. That doesn't mean I like it just because I'm going to go and watch. I'm a fan of the team. Of course you're going to watch your team.
You are paying attention to the Brooklyn Nets now because you want to see if they avoid Milwaukee. You're going to watch those playoff games, and you're in Brooklyn. How about if you're in Pittsburgh and you have nobody in your ballpark from August and September on because you have no chance?
I know what that's like.
Or in Kansas City or San Diego.
No, but we know what that's like.
There's a lot of markets out there that stink.
Okay, yeah, and we've been a part of it. Yeah. That doesn't mean we changed the format.
You're in a baseball town. It's different. Yeah, these other towns in the country are not great baseball towns.
Come on, our team hasn't won a World Series since 1986, Chris. It's only 34 years. I mean, it's not like the Mets are winning all the time. What are you talking about?
Yeah,
I mean, what are you talking? Your team became a juggernaut.
I know, they stink now.
That's fine. You got 3 championships in how many
years?
I'll live with it.
I got 3 championships in 5 years. I'll live with it.
You got to be happy with that.
I am surprised that both of you are making such a big deal.
I don't like it.
Wait, now you're going to tell me you want the DH in the National League too?
No, that I don't want.
Oh, good.
That I don't want.
But you know that's coming. That's going to happen, though.
I think it probably will, unfortunately. I'm not for that, but I think probably it will happen. What is everybody's take in New York on the Astro thing?
Oh, I mean, a lot of people want the title taken away.
Taking the title taken away.
What good does that do?
Doesn't do any good.
5-year probation like the NCAA. Take away the banners, right? Give me a break.
Who cares? Leave the banner. What do you care if there's a banner up?
I'm making a joke out of it. Of course they shouldn't take it away. Who's saying that?
Are you down on Manfred for the punishment?
Yes. Oh, Manfred, I can't stand
I'm down on Manfred for many reasons.
Yeah.
First of all,
he loves the Wilpons. He loves the Wilpons. Steve Cohen's a bad guy. Wait, hold on. Steve Cohen's a bad guy. He loves the Wilpons. So I got to love Manfred? For what?
Well, no, Cohen should have bought the team.
Of course.
I totally agree.
Of course.
Nobody's going to argue with that. Jeff Wilpon's the problem there. That's my take on it.
No doubt.
Oh, we agree.
I mean, the idea that the Wilpons want the money and have Jeff run the team, it doesn't work that way.
No, of course not.
Yeah. Yes.
I mean, I agree with you on that. But forgetting that, how about the Astro thing with Manfred? Let me see if I can fight you off. Go ahead.
Fight him off.
Here's the thing. I know he couldn't suspend.
Yeah, Manfred's a good man. Go ahead.
Well, he may be a good man, but look, the Astro thing isn't my biggest problem. I wouldn't take a championship away. I know he couldn't suspend the players. I think the way he described his defense was weak. When he calls the championship a piece of metal.
Evan, he apologized.
Okay, I'm just letting you know. And the other thing is, this 3-batter minimum is ridiculous. Don't tell me you like that stupid idea.
I love it.
Oh, you love it.
Oh, God, you guys
are
are crazy. Baseball right now with the relief pitcher, these anonymous relief pitchers who take 4 hours to complete these games with terrible TV ratings. You don't love the guy that make him. You take the manager out of play a little bit.
Why?
My goodness,
Why?
let the starting pitcher pitch these games.
Well, look, I'm not complaining. I want starting pitchers to pitch, but the idea that you are now you're legislating a manager how long the reliever can.
I don't go to the games to watch the manager manage.
That's not the point. He's trying to win the game. No, it's not.
Yeah, they don't want to parade to the mound with these managers making reliever move after reliever move.
Do you think honestly that's the biggest problem slowing down the game? Because I don't think it is.
No,
okay.
There isn't. There's got a lot of issues slowing down the game, but they got to do something. And the Players Association and the Commissioner's Office right now, they're on shaky ground. They're not getting along. They got an agreement, of course, which is up after next year. And Rob is not going to throw something down the players' mouths and force feed a pitch clock or something along those lines, which he can do unilaterally. But he's not going to do that because that's going to cause antagonism with the Players Association. And the one thing that Rob has to make sure of is that there is no strike.
Boy, you sound very chummy. You sound chummy.
No, but I'm telling you what it's like.
Call him Bobby sometimes too.
Say again,
Do you call him Bobby sometimes? Oh, Bobby, how you doing?
No, I don't. I don't have Manfred on. He never comes on.
Oh, all right.
Jeez. Well, but what else? So you agree that he couldn't suspend the players? You agree? The only thing I have a problem with is Crane. What else you have?
Here's my problem, dog. Here, this is a big one with the Astros stuff. I don't believe he's telling us everything he knows about what happened in 18 and 19. Every player believes the Astros use buzzers. It's everybody believes it, and it feels as if Major League Baseball, they did their work. They gave the people just enough information, and we still don't know the truth about what happened last year. And Joe and I have argued about this. It matters to me. I want to know what the Astros were doing last year. I want to know if Altuve, who I love as a player, was he wearing a buzzer? And it doesn't feel like Major League Baseball's ever going to get to the bottom of it. I got a big problem with that.
I do think that's a fair point.
Thank you.
I think in the investigative report, the commissioner's office should have put in an explanation of Altuve running around the bases, and then running into the dugout to change his shirt. That was too damn suspicious.
That's right.
They don't deserve any favors anyway, and nobody hits a game-winning, pennant-winning home run against the Yankees at home, and the first thing he thinks about crossing third base, Joe would agree, well, don't take my shirt off because I got a bad tattoo on there. So from that standpoint, yes. I think that probably in the investigation, us being cynics and the fact we can't trust the franchise, they probably should have explained, guys, we understand that there's suspicion about the buzzers and the game-winning home run. We did our best to investigate it. We could find nothing. They did not tell you that they did that, so I understand your point there.
It feels as if they don't want us to know. That's the feeling I have as a baseball fan, that they wouldn't want that information out there because that's far worse than betting the garbage cans.
They told you the Astros cheated in the 2017 postseason.
Dog, this is worse. You know this is far worse.
I got to throw this at you. Do you think the Astros, would you bet the over on the Astros this year?
Oh, God, yes. The Astros are going to be good.
Yeah. See, well, we agree on that. I mean,
the Astros are going to have
this us against the world mentality.
They're going to have such a chip on their shoulder.
No question about it.
Oh, they are going to. They're going to prove.
More.
They got a lot of young players who are annoyed. They're going to shut everybody up.
Couldn't agree with you more.
Listen, they may not win a World Series.
No, but I'm betting the over.
They're going to shut everybody up in a regular season.
Can I tell you something else I like? We're talking to the great Christopher
Mann. Listen to Joe. Joe's flying today. Ev, it's good to hear this. Go ahead.
What am I doing?
You're flying?
Flying today.
Flying. I'm flying tomorrow morning in about 10 minutes. About 10 minutes I'm flying. Here's another thing I want. Here's the one big change I want in baseball. You ready?
Yep.
Electronic umpires behind the plate.
I think that's coming.
I hope so, because they stink. They ought to. I don't know what's worse, the umpires behind the plate or the NFL officials, because they ought to work.
NFL officials.
My God. They probably are.
Everybody
the
wants to blame the officials. I do think that will I think that will come. I think that will come in the sport. I think you're going to see that, and Manfred wants that. I think that will come in. I am very surprised you guys are so down in this postseason.
Oh, boy. Come on. You know what, though? I'll give you credit for this, dog. Because this is like a year ago, but I was clapping when I saw this. The way you went after La Russa for the Harold Baines stuff.
Oh, he did a terrible. How is Harold Baines?
How is that possible?
Joe, how does he make the Hall of Fame?
Bro, I'm with you 100%. And how is Al? And I go, we fight all the time with John Heyman. We have him every week. Albert Bell, he's not in the Hall of Fame, Chris?
I totally agree.
I've
been saying that from day one. How is Albert Bell? And forget about steroids. He didn't use. I don't think he never failed a test. It wasn't in the Mitchell report.
Right.
How is Albert Bell, who
tell me
dominated baseball for about 7 years, how is he not in the Hall of Fame?
Because they don't like him. And,
they don't like him.
And every time I throw that out there, well, what do you mean? No, you don't like him. That's
they
why.
also don't like Kent. How does Kent?
No, they don't like
Kent's
him
a Hall of Famer
no,
too.
I agree with that too.
Kent's
Of course.
He's a lifetime 290
Of
hitter
course.
with 377 home runs.
No,
How is he not in the Hall of Fame?
And he
No
doesn't
doubt.
come close.
We agree.
He
We
doesn't even
100%.
come close.
17% of the votes.
Crazy.
This is ridiculous.
Yeah, it is ridiculous.
Great. You could not have been happy when your baseball team hired Gabe Kapler. I mean, what the hell was that?
Crazy about that. Very annoying. How does Farhan Zaidi, who I like, good guy, how does he think that the Giant fan is going to approve of Gabe Kapler, whose teams collapsed in September 2 years in a row, and he was in Philadelphia, got fired, and now he's the Giants manager? I mean, that's ridiculous.
Yeah,
That's
terrible.
Can he take a year off to resurrect his career first, for crying out loud? Oh, that drove me nuts. Yeah, a lot of Giant fans are annoyed by that. What else can you guys tell me?
How about what's your thoughts on the steroid guys in the Hall of Fame?
Oh, it's a joke. They shouldn't be in there.
What
are you going to do?
Be in there? You saying no?
Well, no steroids. Clemens and Bonds should not be in the Hall of Fame.
Oh, my God.
No,
I disagree completely on that.
Oh, come on.
I'd let
Clemens
them all
and
in.
Bonds
I'd let them all in. All of them.
Why?
Well, because the history of the game, these guys, and here's the other thing too. You tell me that Major League Baseball, these guys, Bud Selig, who's in the Hall of Fame, by the way, he wasn't looking the other way. When he knew something was going on.
Well, so did the Players Association. How about them?
Well, okay.
Yeah, but they're not. They're not in the Hall of Fame. We're talking about Bud Selig being in the Hall of Fame.
There's a million players who can't stand the fact that Bonds cheated and McGuire cheated and Sosa and Clemens and guys like that cheated. Not to mention Piazza, quite possibly.
Oh God,
quite possibly.
No, that's why he couldn't get in on the first ballot because he had back acne.
Right.
We know that.
What are you keeping him out based on? The back acne?
Oh, come on. You mean to tell me that Piazza didn't do steroids?
I don't know. We don't know.
Just because there's speculation. Look, this guy's, you know this, Chris. There's guys in the Hall of Fame now that probably did steroids.
Oh, there's a million of them.
Of course.
100%.
Of course.
I don't have listen, but Bonds is the poster boy, so is Clemens. They should not be. If I was voting, they would not get in.
But
Wow.
Bonds.
Now, I'll tell you something else now. I'll tell you something else on the same subject. I'm glad you brought it up. How is Pete Rose after 30 years? How is he not in the Hall of Fame?
Of course. Oh, that's a no-brainer. Of course. I agree with you there.
I mean, let me
that's
get
a
this
joke.
straight.
When he dies, they'll put him in.
His uniform's in there.
Right,
His gloves
right,
are in there.
right,
his records are in there.
Right.
But we're not going to give Pete
Right.
Rose a day at 80 years of age.
But you know what?
They're going to put him in when he dies because they want to stick it to him.
Well, they didn't
know
They
that.
didn't put Joe Jackson.
No,
in.
they're not
He's
going
been
to put him
dead
in
for
when
a
he
while.
dies.
That's true.
Evan's right. They're not going to put him in when he dies.
If you go to the Hall of Fame, I was there a few months
that is
ago.
a joke, Chris,
They've got all the records
That's a
and jerseys of steroid guys too horn in. Like Barry Bonds' record is up there. So if you use that argument, why not Bonds?
I'll tell you something else. You're telling me that Pete Rose in the month of March can't put on a uniform to teach some 18-year-old kid how to hit the ball the other way in spring training?
Look,
how to take pitches.
No,
I mean, and yet
100%.
Bonds and McGuire and people like that can work in the sport.
No,
and A-Rod can be, who sued the sport, can be the poster boy on television everywhere you turn around. Really?
I want him to buy my team. I want A-Rod to buy the Mets. I'm in.
You're down on the Wilpons.
How could you
you nailed it,
how do you not
Jeff's
be down
the
on
problem.
him? How are you
said
not
it.
down on him? How am I not? If you're a Met fan, there's one Met fan in the history of mankind that actually likes the Wilpons. And I'm not even going to say his name anymore.
Who is it? Boomer?
No. Boomer. I
don't know what Boomer thinks
I don't know about that one. I don't even know.
Listen. That sale, the problem with it is that the Wilpons cannot. Now listen, Cohen probably bought the team and thought that he would figure out a way to buy the team and not pay too much attention to that 5-year transitional period, have a big gala on opening day, and not realize that that's not what the Wilpons had in mind. So you got to put a little of the blame on Cohen too. But the theme of the whole scenario is you can't sell the ball club for $2.5 billion and expect the son, who nobody wants, to run a team. The other thing that is a concern, the idea that this is a legacy for the Wilpons so the great-grandkids can have a slice of the Mets. Who cares about Freddie's great-grandkids? The Met fan who has been going to those games since 1962 do not care about the Wilpons' grandkids. They've had the team for 33 years.
Yep.
They've been in 6 postseasons.
Yep.
Let's see if we can try somebody else for a change.
Yeah, especially a billionaire like Steve Cohen, who would probably spend as much as any owner in baseball.
I do think that Cohen, though, jumped the gun a little bit, to be fair. I do think he did not realize that 5 years meant 5 years.
Well, but the problem is, and what the Wilpons are going to find out, is no one's probably going to make the offer that Cohen made.
That's a problem. They're going to have to realize that if they want to sell the team and the money, they're going to have to get out of the sport.
Again, we're talking to the great Christopher Mad Dog Russo. Now, do you miss doing this?
Miss what now? The sports talk in New York?
Yeah.
I miss the camaraderie that you can have with the New York fan, where you all can be on the same page, whether it be any of your teams, whether they lose a bad game, break down a pinch hitting scenario in the 8th inning in a big spot, and we can spend 4 hours on it. You definitely miss that, because the great thing about FAN and everything else is that you have a local team, and in your case, you got teams, you got a million of them.
Right.
So when you're on Sirius, you don't have that per se.
Right.
So you have to bounce around a little bit more. Now, there's a great advantage to that because you got great flexibility, and you don't got to break down the Yankee lineup every day. So there is a plus to it, but there are days that you wish you could say, you know what, let's break down a Jet draft pick situation, or break down what the Giants are up to and break down Joe Judge. The average fan in America does not care about the new Giant head coach, Joe Judge.
Right.
So there is that little give and take that you do miss there. And, you guys got the best slot in the world. How many times, Joe, Evan, a little younger, so maybe not, how many times since you used to call, how many times I used to say in the air, it's the best piece of real estate in the radio business? How many times?
No, you said it all the time.
2 to 6, or 1 to 6 in your case. And you guys are in a great situation. Joe, you can stay there as long as you want, and Evan's just getting his career started. How old are you, Evan, now, 40?
36.
You got 30 years you can do this.
Hopefully. I'm trying to convince Joe to stick around.
Let me tell you, Chris, there's no way I'm doing this when I'm 70 years old.
Yeah, but Joe.
There's no but, Chris. You don't understand.
The average fan.
Can
I give you a piece of radio advice?
You can give me whatever you want. Go ahead.
This is for me. Evan, stay out of it.
All
this is between me and Joe.
Just me and him.
All right.
Me and Joe. Because Joe used to have some issues with me, but I've grown on him. All right.
Issues with you? You had the best. Hold on. Your Saturday show was the best show on the air.
No, but you had, me, Jets. You hated the fact they hated the New York teams, that kind of stuff.
Well, yeah, but I still love you, though.
Joe.
What?
You have had a great career here.
Well.
Let's not talk about the end. The average guy driving in the LIE right now does not want to hear about Joe. I got to get out in 2 years. They may want you there for 10 years.
They could want me as long as they want. But I'm
so
just
there you
telling
go. You're in a great situation. Why would you want to quit?
Well, I'm just telling you where I'm at. I'm telling you where my mind is at. Okay?
I
love you. I don't pull any punches.
You know what your mind should be at right now?
What?
You know what your mind should be at right now?
I can't imagine. What?
Beating Michael Kay.
Is that where my mind should be at?
You should be your goal right now, and I know Evan's goal, he never admitted.
Let me tell you right now.
Your goal should be the best sports talk show in New York City.
I love you, Chris. I love you to death. Okay? I can't live and die with that stuff. I can't. I'm sorry. I just can't. Maybe 15 years ago? Not now. Sorry. Love you to death, bro.
You still love coming to work every day?
I'd love it more if I was in Florida.
You're not in Florida.
I'm just telling you. Ask me a question. What the hell you want me to do? You want me to lie to you? I don't pull punches. I tell like it is, just like you do. I'm not lying. I'm being honest. I'm giving you an honest answer.
Your thoughts on
He knows how I feel. Evan knows how I feel.
I am working on convincing Joe to work until he's 80. And
what are you, 67, Joe?
66.
Yeah, 13 years. That's my goal.
You got 4 years. 70 is a long way off. Just enjoy it.
I hope I make 70. I want to make tomorrow.
You are Saddle River, New Jersey, and you're doing afternoon drive.
Can I tell you this? I love you. There's nothing left to prove for me. Nothing.
Joe, you're doing afternoon drive in New York.
Let me just say this again. Nothing. I came from nowhere to do this, out of nowhere. There is nothing left to prove.
Don't you enjoy sports, Joe?
There's certain things I don't love anymore. I think it's become too politicized.
Well, but the games.
But you're asking me.
The games.
Yeah, the games. The NFL will always be number one.
And you enjoy watching a big Met game in September?
Love the Mets. The Mets, of course.
You love the
Knicks are a disaster.
They're a disaster.
The NBA in general is nowhere near what it once was. Not even close.
Listen, I do think that the NBA likes to think that they're a hip league. There were some issues with the league. I agree. But you love the Rangers.
Rangers, yes. The Rangers
you
are
love
good.
Sports, Joe.
And golf. I'm big golf now.
And you love the golf.
Over the golf.
You've always loved the golf.
When are we playing again? When are we playing?
Yeah, I got to get you to Shore Haven.
You do? I'm in.
Evan, what's up with you now?
By the way, you want to hear something interesting?
Yes.
Tim Tebow just did a home run in spring training.
That's another thing. That's a joke.
We're going to get him on. We get him on Friday.
We
may get Tebow on.
What is the objective? What is the objective of bringing, to sell a couple of jerseys?
Yes.
What is that? Is that desperate to sell a couple of
and you know what?
merchandise
You know what
items?
annoys me? All right, here's how much I love sports. I still watch all the spring training games. You got a game on TV on a Saturday, I'm into it. I love it. He's in the lineup every day. Like Tim Tebow is a spring training regular.
They want to do that.
He's 33, 32 years old.
Well, it's the first biggest spring training. That's what it is.
I understand, but he's the only guy. It's Andres Jimenez, one of their big prospects, and Tim Tebow every freaking day. But you know what? I admit that when I just saw he hit a home run, I mentioned it. So
let me ask you: did Tim Tebow get hosed by the NFL in your mind?
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
I don't think he's that good.
No, I'm just asking you.
He's a one-dimensional. But how about the Chiefs? How about the fourth quarter of that Chiefs game? If you're Shanahan, you will not sleep for. You haven't slept yet. That was you had the ball with 11 minutes left with a 10-point lead,
and they stopped running the ball. They stopped. This team.
There were 3 plays.
Run the football.
They didn't run the ball enough. They had
100%.
And we saw Mahomes.
And he got hosed on that call in the first half with Kittle on that pass interference.
That's a tough call.
Oh yeah,
could have gone the other way.
But we saw Mahomes go from having an awful first 2.5 quarters to putting together an incredible conclusion and being the hero of the game, despite the fact he didn't play well the first part of this game.
The third and 15 was the biggest play of the game.
That was it.
Oh,
of course.
God, yes. No doubt.
That play, that's why you can't kill the Niners offense completely. If they get off the field on 3rd and 15, they win the game.
And that was right after they had that Tyreek Hill overturn.
Where he clearly didn't catch it. Yep. No doubt
that's right. They overturned the play, the catch on the ground. Good point. All right, I love you guys. Don't get so upset about the baseball.
Well, I am.
Let it go a little bit.
I can't let it go.
We're gonna have you on again. We'll have you on
let
again.
it go anytime for you.
Thank you.
Anytime.
All the love.
Have a good one, Christopher Mad Dog Crusoe. It started with us fighting. It ended with a therapy session between you and
I used to his Saturday morning show. I'm telling you, I would live for that show.
Oh my God,
to be on that Saturday morning show.
You know what?
And I used to go out. We used to go out all the time about so many different things.
One time, I don't know why I remember this, but his Saturday show was legendary. I aspire to be half as good as what he did on Saturdays. One day, I think it was a Met-Yankee Subway Series game. He comes on the air and says, listen, there's rain in the forecast. They've moved the game to 7 o'clock. And I was convinced for 2 hours.
Oh, he was BSing?
He was just kidding.
Yeah?
He had me so
convinced. It was like an April Fool's thing?
I don't know what it was. I was calling my dad, we got to change our schedule. Dog just said the game got moved. My dad's like, that doesn't even make sense. Why would they move a game because of the weather? And he had me guessing for a while. But now he's a legend. Even though he's just dead wrong about the baseball playoff idea. It's a horrible idea.
Well, he's tight with Manfred.
No, he called him Rob. Him and Rob, they're buddies.